They used me like a bank until I finally closed the doors. I never imagined that the biggest betrayal of my life would come from the very people who taught me to trust. I'm a 28-year-old man. For years, I paid the mortgage on a house I bought for my parents, thinking I was giving back for all they'd done. But that house, my gesture of love and gratitude, was handed over to my sister, and they didn't even bother to tell me. I found out by accident. And from that moment on, something inside me broke. Ever since I was a kid, I was the responsible one, the one who had to carry the weight of everything. While I was drowning in expectations and pressure, my younger sister, Louisa, was treated like something sacred. We never had much, but somehow she always got what she wanted. Me? I was forged in responsibility. You're the oldest. You have to lead by example. That was their mantra. My parents spent all their savings on my technical education, against my advice. I had suggested taking out a student loan, but they refused, saying the interest would be too high. Back then, I thought it was love. Later, I realized that it was an investment. When I graduated and landed a job in tech, I felt proud and deeply indebted. My father wasted no time reminding me, "We did this for you. Now it's your turn." I was still living with the roommates, barely affording rent, and they were already planting the seed. "When are you going to buy us a house?" 5 years. That's how long I saved, scrimped, and said no to myself to buy my parents a modest, comfortable home. Nothing extravagant, just something they could finally call theirs. For 3 straight years, I paid the mortgage every month, even sending extra payments to get ahead. I wanted to be free someday, to have my own house, travel, maybe build a family. Outwardly, everything looked fine. My parents proudly showed off the house to neighbors and friends, but I still felt like an outsider. We stayed distant. Until one day I decided to visit them unannounced. That's when everything fell apart. I saw Louisa's car in the driveway and assumed she was just visiting. She opened the door in pajamas. "What are you doing here?" she asked with a laugh. I smiled. "I could ask you the same thing. Where's Mom and Dad?" She flopped down on the couch and casually replied, "Oh, they moved out. I live here now." The ground shifted under my feet. "What do you mean? This is their house." She shrugged. "Guess they didn't tell you. They gave it to me. I'm having a baby, and they thought I needed it more." I drove straight to their new apartment, heart racing. My mom opened the door like nothing was wrong. I asked, "What the hell's going on?" Louisa said, "You gave her the house I paid for." She smiled and said, "We didn't think you'd mind, sweetheart." Didn't think I'd mind? I bought that house. You're doing so well now. Louisa's starting a family. Don't you want your nephew to grow up in a stable home? My dad added, "She didn't get the same opportunities as you. She deserves this security." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My success had become a punishment. That day, I made a choice. I would not pay another cent toward that mortgage. But it didn't end there. At the bank, I found out that all the extra money I'd sent each month to pay off the house early, my father had been using it to pay their rent. All those sacrifices I made, living below my means, skipping vacations, and he funneled it into their new life. When I confronted him, he just said, "You sent the money." I figured it was to help. What's the problem? The problem is that you used me. You betrayed me. I blocked them all. My parents, Louisa, her husband. I refused to be manipulated again. If they wanted Louisa to have the house, fine. She could pay for it now. Spoiler, she didn't. A year later, the house was auctioned off. My parents tried to save it, even burned through their retirement funds, but it was too late. When they asked Louisa and her husband to help with payments, they refused, said it was a gift and not their responsibility. The truth finally hit them. Too little, too late. Now I live in my own apartment. And after years of hard work, I finally bought my own house, my space, my rules, my peace. Months later, my father showed up again. This time, he wanted me to buy another house for them. Yes, again, after everything. I told him flat out, "You had your chance when I bought you a home. You gave it away. Go ask Louisa." He stayed in town for a few days trying to convince me. I never answered his calls. I had blocked every number. When I got back from a business trip, he was gone. And I was free. Now I'm living quietly. No one in my family knows where I live. I didn't post it on social media. I told only a handful of close friends. I'm not risking anything. I even joked that I'd install an electric fence to keep my family out, but truthfully, I learned from experience. I'm protecting my peace. It took me nearly 3 decades to realize it, but sometimes the people who are supposed to love you the most are the ones who will use you the hardest. I'm done being their walking ATM, and I don't feel guilty. Not anymore.